What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I made $6,969. And the trade that I took was the trade right here. It's going to pop up on the screen. Voila! And yeah, I called it on stream. I said this is a plus. There's a lot of reasons for this trade. So stay tuned, take some notes, and yeah, let's get into the video. So there was 5 steps, right? Just like the other video I made, there's 5 steps into determining this trade. Okay, the first step in determining am I going to even trade today was, looking at the overnight range. The overnight range to me looked pretty choppy. So to be honest, I was like, okay, overnight choppy range usually means that New York session is pretty good. Now, sometimes am I wrong about that? Yeah, but okay, I wasn't today, and that's what counts. So I saw that the London session was not too volatile. I think it was only like 60 points or something, and that's really low. If you look at the history of the last like London and Asia session, 60 points is really low. So I knew AM session was probably gonna be good. So that was really the first step in determining, okay, we're gonna get good price action. Now let me find an entry, let me find the buys, etc. The second step was really determining, was price action good at the time? And when I came into the market this morning, I felt like we're getting a lot of good, like just swing points, I felt like it was really clean movement. Like it was like not too sideways choppy, but we're getting a lot of like hills and mountains. And whenever we get like a lot of hills and mountains like this, I really like looking for trades, because to me, that's just really, really textbook. And if we are getting stuff like this, then I know that hitting swing lows and swing highs are going to be high probability. And if that's high probability, then I know an IPG entry down to a swing low is going to be high probability as well, which is why I like this trade in the first place. So that's step 2, determining whether it's good price action. Step 3 was finding a bias. Okay, so if I go on my Discord, which I'm actually live right now making this YouTube video, and I go to index commentary, okay, I was very, very clearly bearish today. Okay, so at 8:24 a.m., I said we hit buy side on the hourly, which I'll show you guys in a second, and we inverse these hourly fair value gaps. Okay, so we inverse these hourly fair value gaps. Pretty easy to see. So it makes sense to be bearish. Want to see what the lower time frame does. 20,360 would be target. Okay, and you can see final target end up hitting here, which this was my final target for the AM session. Okay, so that was step 3, finding a bias. I felt like it was pretty easy. The first thing I actually saw, which is a little more advanced, is I saw a protected high in the 15-minute time frame this morning. So if you don't know what a protected high is, it's when we take out a high inside of a fair value gap to the left. And when we took this out here, there was a really bearish reaction. We formed a very bearish, BPR here. And when I was looking for the trade entry, we were delivering off of a 15-minute bearish fair value gap up here, delivering off of BPR with a protected high above. So it did not make sense to even target this in the first place. And it made sense to be bearish because this reaction at this BPR. And that's when I'm going to go in the 1 minute time frame and hunt for a lower time frame entry, as we obviously saw me take, right? So this is the position that I took. The other reason was because, one, we took out this buy side, right? If you go to the 4-hour chart, there was a very obvious high we hit yesterday, and we had a very bearish reaction to it. And then the other reason was on the 15-minute time frame, there's a lot of fair value gaps here. And as you guys know, I don't like using all these fair value gaps here. I like just waiting, looking for the singular ones or even like the more obvious ones. And at that point, I'm like, okay, there's a lot of fair value gaps here. I'm going to track the hourly. I go to the hourly, and it made it actually much cleaner, right? There's only 2 now instead of like 5 million. And when I woke up this morning, I actually woke up and went back to sleep. I checked the market and I saw that we had closed under these hourly fair value gaps. So that's the other reason. And that's why I wrote in this commentary, right? I'm bearish because we closed under the hourly fair value gaps. Okay, as you can see here. And, it just made sense because of that to treat this as resistance and then dump, right? So that just makes sense. So that was step 3, determine the bias. There's a couple of different reasons, right? Protected high, hourly fair value gap. I also like this, there was kind of low resistance liquidity below, right? Not the greatest, but it was definitely low resistant. There's a lot of stop losses under these lows. So, yeah. Step 4 is actually framing an entry. So now that we have the bias, now that we determined that we should get New York good price action, now that we determined that it's good price action at the time, how do I find my actual entry? Well, I don't like entering too low, right? And when we got the entry at the time, okay, so when we got the entry at the time right here, I felt like we were in premium, right, according to the overnight range. So if I just draw out the overnight range here, right, from like this high, this London high to London low, okay, this is our dealing range. I felt like we were in premium, right, of the overnight range when we got this entry. So because of that, we are in premium. So that's the first way to determine entry. And then the second way is just looking for liquidity sweep. And I saw how we swept this high. The candle did not close above this high here. So that was another really good sign. And we got like kind of a sweep. And we just kind of like slowly just pushed through this gap. There wasn't any stalling. There wasn't any like green candles back up and then down. We just kind of pushed through it. And to me, that was just pretty bearish. And then the other reason why I like this entry here, which by the way, I did enter in the close of this candle. Okay. The other reason why I like the entry was because there was a bearish SMT here. So there's a bearish SMT with ES. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it's actually right here. So you can see NQ or ES took the high here when NQ didn't. So that combined with a 15-minute fair value gap delivery, combined with a bearish SMT, combined with us being in a macro time when this actually formed, combined with all the stop losses below, combined with a low below, all that contributed for me liking this entry. And you could have, I know some people who did wait for the 5-minute entry here, which is fine. But if we're coming off an SMT and there's a protected high up here anyways, and I'm really confident in liquidity, then I should understand that the market should break this 5-minute anyways, and that the 1-minute would be the low risk trade because you could just move south of break even at the swing low. And if you did that, it would not have been a break even trade. So that's step 4. Step 5, kind of a combination of things, but step 5 is going to be picking your targets and remaining disciplined after they hit and not over trading. So step 5 is important because this is probably one of the hardest part, picking your targets. I liked scaling half here because it was more than 1R, and my win rate is so high that it makes sense to scale 1R if it gives it to us. So I'd like to scale there, and if you actually look in the 30-second time frame, there's these mini equal lows there. So that was kind of why I chose to scale half there, and it made sense. The other reason was just because it was actually discount of this lower time frame range. So it was below the 0.50. It was actually, it lined up with the optimal trade entry as well, which that's a lot more advanced. I don't really go over that, but if we're going to be bullish, we're going to balance here. And if I'm wrong, then I don't want to get screwed and not scale. So that's the other reason. And then the final target besides a runner was just going to be this low, right? I like targeting this low. If I'm taking 1-minute entry, right, I'm pairing, or if I'm taking a 30-second or 1-minute entry, I like pairing like the 15-minute or 5-minute time frame. And on the 15-minute time frame, you can see that this was a swing low in the 15-minute. So because it's the next swing low in the 15-minute and I'm pairing the 1-minute with the 15-minute, I just like that for a target. Okay, if that makes sense. And then someone asked me, they said, Dodgy, is it a good idea to hold a runner? And I said, yes, it is. Why? Because my higher time frame bias was already bearish off of the hourly fair value gaps up here. Okay. So because I was already bearish off these hourlies, right? Why would you not hold a runner? Now, why hold a runner to here and not like way down here? Well, to be honest, it's really just how big of a move we got here. Oftentimes you're not going to get a move like this with no pullbacks. So the second we hit down here and you're still holding runner, it's really risky because there's such an easy opportunity to retrace back here because the market's not going to go straight down. If it did, that would be too easy. And you can see if we didn't hold our runner, it would have gone stop. Or if we did not cover here, it would have gone stop break even anyways. And it's just because how big of a move this was. Basically just if we did this like that, then I probably would have held a runner further. But because we just really went straight down, it just makes sense to hold a runner till here because we're going to pull back at some point. You just don't know when. So, and then just being disciplined. Oftentimes after I take a trade like this, which is a very, very good trade, I don't really trade the rest of the day. There's really no point. Now, did we get more winning setups after? Yeah, we did. You know, we got a 1 minute here, which was nice. But I'm telling you guys, if you ever hit a trade like that, there's no reason to keep trading. You know, statistics don't lie. This will be profitable in the long run, and you just got to think about that when you're going to trade, right? I do this challenge with my Discord where they have a rules calendar challenge, right? And if they follow the rules for the day, they're green, right? And my rules is I take two or less trades, right? And they have to be both light bulb trades. So it's better on me, and it makes me feel better if I'm following my rules rather than taking 5 trades a day, right? If I take 1 trade a day and it's a banger, whatever, I'm gonna go touch grass, be done, because I know long term that's profitable for me. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Let me know if you guys enjoyed and if you want more videos like this. But really good trade today, and that's gonna be it for me. Peace. So I just want to show you guys a clip of proof, and this is actually me calling an A setup at first. Okay, but just wait, I will change my rating and I'll explain why. So we have another 1 minute short here. This would be an A setup here, probably. Okay, and then a little bit later, someone says, would this be A plus because we have an SMT? Okay, and I said, very good question. Yes, it would be. I did not see the SMT at the time, but then when I saw the SMT, I said, yep, this is A plus. Let me show you the clip. Does the bearish SMT with the S make it A plus instead of A? Good question. Yes. So he's kind of saying like, oh, there's a bearish SMT above, right? So he's asking like, would this be A plus instead? And honestly, my answer would probably be yeah. So that was a live recording of me saying, yes, it would be A plus because the SMT. If you guys did not see the SMT, it's actually right here. Okay, let me just turn my crosshair on. It should be on. You can see, like I said before, right? Yes, like the high, and NQ did not. So that made it A plus instead of A because I usually upgrade the rating if there's an SMT involved.